Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, we're going to talk about the pool and what it's taken me to get it from green to blue. Now, if home improvement and pool videos are not your kind of thing, you might want to click away now. But please don't do that before clicking the like button. All right, we can always use a like. Anyway, today is all about the pool, taking it from a green, swampy mess to a blue, sparkling oasis. It has not been easy. I started this task back in April, the beginning of April. As you know, we had a big freeze in February, and the pool froze solid, the pump froze, everything froze. I was honestly afraid that we were going to lose the filter, that it was going to crack it, that we were going to lose the pump, or it could have damaged, expanded the pool walls and damaged the pool. But fortunately, none of that happened. However, unfortunately, about the same time that happened, there was a huge demand for chlorine, for disinfectant for COVID and disinfectant for pools and the home and everything. So it affected the market for liquid chlorine, or bleach, as it's commonly referred to. So I had a small thing of pucks left over, chlorine pucks, from last year, but not enough to do what I need to do. And what you have to do when you have a pool that's as green as mine was, you have to do a procedure called slamming the pool. And that is, you elevate the chlorine to like 4 times its normal amount until all the algae and all the living things in the water are killed. And then you clean up the mess afterwards. So now, ideally, what I should have done is tried to vacuum the pool and get all the leaf litter off the bottom. However, it's real hard to do when you can't see the bottom of the pool. So the other problem was, every time I would start a slam and get toward the end of it, I would run out of either bleach or liquid chlorine or whatever. So that's what this video is all about, and the troubles I ran into trying to get this done and how long it took. And I guess the main point of this video is don't let your pool get into this state. But yeah, I just over the winter I just didn't take care of it, plain and simple, and it filled up with leaves and algae, and yeah. So let's go see what I had to do to get it to get this situation rectified. Now, the first thing I discovered on checking the chemicals on the pool was that my cyanuric acid was at extremely high levels, and that's a consequence of using pucks for the entire season. So that requires you to drain some water out of the pool, and I decided to drain about 1/4 of the volume of the pool water just to reduce that cyanuric acid. And you can see at this point it wasn't too green. It was bluish green, which is a lot easier to treat than a swamp green. So what I was doing here, like I say, was reducing the amount of water to lower the cyanuric acid, because if your CYA is too high, it makes your chlorine less effective. If it's too low, your chlorine burns off during the day from sunlight. And you can see here, you can see almost to the bottom of the steps. Now I'm just taking a walk around the pool here. There's the you can see I was doing some maintenance. When they installed my pool, they never put a shutoff valve in. So the first thing I wanted to do, since I was draining it, was to put a shutoff valve in so that I could turn off the flow of water to the pump to do maintenance on it and the filter. So that's what I did. I just installed it. I've got it on here now. And the day I installed it was kind of foggy. It was kind of wet outside. And yeah, there's me just showing how low the water level was. I was waiting for it to get up to the skimmer. Anyway, I go to check this thing for leaks, and oh yeah, there's a 1-inch pipe I had my plumber install so that I could easily fill the pool rather than running a garden hose out to it. So Unfortunately, you can't use the water in the house when this is running because it takes all the pressure. But yeah, it's much more effective than a garden hose. So anyway, I'm checking the valve now for leaks, and it's working rather well. It's wet on the bottom, but that's because it's foggy out. So I did come back and check it later, and if you look real carefully, you can see some bubbles on the top of that lid for the pool pump. I had that top cover on incorrectly, and that's why it was sucking in air. And yeah, so there you go. There's the me refilling the pool after draining a good portion of the water out of it. And I'm really glad I had the plumber go with a 1-inch PVC on this instead of a smaller size pipe. I actually ran the pipe to the pump and filter just because I knew I was going to want to add it to it. So if you look in the water, it's a murky bluish green. It's not a deep swamp green. And that's because I was actually treating it with some bleach, because at the beginning of this, you notice my chlorine dispenser there is barely floating. It's full of pucks. So I had access to bleach and to the pucks, and I was just kind of attacking it. And unfortunately, then my source of chlorine ran out, and that's when I had to stop and start all over again. And it's frustrating because, you know, as the weather gets warmer, you want to get into the water, you know. It was still too cool at this point to swim. And the other problem I had was that birds and cats and critters were getting up on the rail of the pool and evacuating their, well, I'm not going to be gross about it, but you know what birds do. They poop all over your cars. They poop all over your pools. So, yeah, here I was trying to get the pool from green to blue, and having some partial success, and I did manage to get the water level refilled, so there you go. Now, first things first. When I go to work on a project, I want my work areas to be clean, and I want to be able to get to stuff. So I learned a long time ago, the impetuousness of my youth, to slow down, take your time, get your work area clear of obstructions, and get it taken care of. Now, our lawn maintenance company, I've told the folks, don't weed eat around the pool. I wanted to do that because you can see I'm here rearranging cords and getting them out of the way. I'll find a more permanent solution for that before they come out and do some more work on it. But I wanted to make sure I was the one. If I damaged anything, that'd be on me. But if the lawn company damaged it, I'd feel bad about it, making them pay for the damage. So this is me clearing the work area so I can get around the pool and the filter without having to worry about snakes or critters crawling up my legs or whatever else. Now that long blue hose is called a backwash hose, and that's so you can blow water backwards through the sand filter to get all the gunk and the grime out of it. And I'm going to get a longer one, but for right now I think that thing's about, probably 20 feet long, 25 feet long. And I just use it to water a tree. Don't worry, there's not enough bleach or chlorine in that pool to kill that tree. And then I'm just checking the water levels, etc. And here I am rearranging the drain tube. Now, one thing that wasn't in short supply is granular shock. So I was able to pick some calcium hypochlorite up at Walmart. And while it's not generally recommended for vinyl lined pools because it can stain the walls. And actually this was dichlor I was putting in there, not calcium hypochlorite. But anyway, the calcium hypochlorite, if you just put it in a bucket of warm water and mix it up, it'll dissolve the granules, and then it's safe to pour into the pool. And it was the only way I had at that point to shock the pool. Now, when we had the pool installed, it was my understanding they were going to install the ladder and the wedding cake stairs that came with the pool, but that wasn't the case because they left it all for us. Now, last year we managed to get the wedding cake stairs installed, but we never did put the outside of the ladder up. We just decided, because we thought we were going to build a deck. And then with the price of lumber where it is, we just decided this year we can afford it, but we're not going to spend. Lumber is triple the price it was last year. We're just not going to spend the money. We're going to wait till the prices come down and stabilize, and then we'll build a pool deck to the over there where you see the little aqua bug on top of the old cooler. That's where we're going to build the deck. Now, so what I'm doing here now is the instructions on how to set up these stairs are not very clear. We've been, up to this point, just been putting a step ladder up there and getting into the pool that way, but not exactly a good idea or the safest way to do it. So because I'm a hands-on kind of guy, the instructions were one thing, but I'm a visual learner, and so I put my hands on it and did a mock-up of it and figured out where everything was going to need to go. Now, one of the things that is a little unnerving about putting this in is that you have to put in 8 sheet metal screws into the little legs coming up to hold that top portion of that ladder. And it's not a good idea to drop screws into a pool with a vinyl liner on which you cannot see the bottom. It just doesn't, it's probably not a good idea. So you can see here's what I was doing on a regular basis. Now this is just regular concentrated household bleach, which is about 7% chlorine, sodium chloride in it. And I'm just dumping it in there 2 gallons at a time to get the chlorine level high enough to kill all the algae in the pool. And mind you, I had algae and I had leaf litter at the bottom of the pool that I wasn't aware of. And then after you add the bleach, you need to scrub the sides of the pool and kind of push everything around so that the algae, if you don't disturb the algae, the chlorine can't get to it to kill it effectively. So that requires you going around the pool. And, you know, it's always, nobody likes to have to go out and scrub a pool any more than people like to have to scrub their tub at home or clean their commodes, but it's a necessary evil that has to be done. You know, truth be told, once I get out there and started doing it, it wasn't that big of a deal. I was in the fresh air and the sunshine, and this was fairly early in the morning I was doing this. There's a rule in South Texas, you never go outside after noon, because unless it's like this time of the night, like about 7:30, 8 o'clock, right before the sun sets, it's just too hot to do anything. So my spouse and I went out, we put a couple of floaties in the pool, and let's see how well you know Unky Joe. There's a green floaty and a purple floaty. Which one is mine? So anyway, we decided to go out together and get these stairs installed, and so that's what we're doing in this video. And my spouse likes to talk to me. I need to focus when I work on things, but my spouse is a little chatty and likes to ask me 10,000 questions while I'm working on a project. So I had to politely tell my spouse to please shut up and let me focus on my work, because I was so afraid of dropping a screw into the pool and then not being able to see it to get it out of there. I do have a magnet I could have put in the pool, on a pole. It could have gotten it out of there, but why go through the bother? Now, one thing about these stairs, I would not have chosen these. These would not have been my choice. I like the inside stairs, the wedding cake stairs, because they're wide. And this is a big pool. It's a 24-foot pool. So we got plenty of room in there for the stairs. But even though this ladder is, I guess it's well made, it's still a little rickety. Now here what I was doing was digging out the dirt. And then my spouse went and got a couple of square patio blocks. So we would have a stable, level surface to put those legs on, because they support the main weight of you on the very top of that ladder, and you don't want that damn thing collapsing. I'm not going to tell you what my spouse weighs, but I weigh 220 pounds, and you know, you want to make sure this thing is going to hold you when you're standing up on the top of it. So I made damn sure that we had a good, stable, firm base to put these stairs on, the poles for the stairs, so there'd be no chance of collapse. So if you look over to your left, that's what we're going to be faced with when we go out to swim at the pool, is that sun. And I have a little bitty tree out there. It's a mimosa tree that we planted a few years ago, and that ain't going to cut it for sunshade. So I have ordered temporarily an umbrella, a 10-foot umbrella that will give us some shade on that side of the pool. And once lumber prices come down, I'll go ahead and build that deck. It's going to be probably, I would imagine, an 8 by 16 foot deck, and we can put a table up there and some chairs and an umbrella. But the spouse has plans to go buy a bunch of trees. Right where that mimosa tree is almost the end of our property to the rear of our house, so we can put a lot of trees in there. And she wants to get some ash trees and some pecan trees, and so I'm like, okay, that's fine. Well, here's the legs of the ladder now. So we're going to put these in, and we also need to provide a base for them. Now, one of the things is that the last step on this is adjustable. And as you'll see here in a minute, it's quite a big step down to that bottom step. So we're going to need to build up a platform underneath it. See the gap between the bottom and the first step? It's a little bit long there. It's not, your brain doesn't know that step should be that far away, and it could make for a turned ankle or So the next day we decided it would probably be a good idea to test, to see if that ladder would hold our weight and, see how rickety it was. And you can see it's not a real stable kind of system that they've set up on that, but it does hold our weight. You'll also see, if you look, there's a hose going around in the pool. And I decided it was time, the water was getting clear enough to where I could put my little aqua critter in there. And what that did was it actually picked up a lot of the leaves off the bottom of the pool. Now I had to go out there every half an hour and clear the leaf debris from it and blow out the filter and that kind of thing. So it was one of those things that required a lot of babysitting. And then for the first time ever, I broke out my vacuum hose, because now the pool bottom was clear to see, and I could see all the dead algae on the bottom. So I just went around with a pool vacuum as best I could. You'll see a blackbird coming into the shot there. And did the best I could to get the residual stuff off the bottom of the pool. Now that's also when I noticed that some staining of the liner had occurred, but
I'm assured by the manufacturer that'll go away with now that we got the pool nice and clean. And evidently it's the tannins in the leaves that leach out and can stain the liner. But just doubling your level of chlorine in the pool for a few days will usually clear that up within a week or two. So I'm following their advice, and that's what I did. And I'm letting you know now, this pool will never be allowed to get this bad again. In fact, even as we speak, I've got the little aqua critter in it. And one of the benefits at putting that ladder in was that I was able to get up there and to scrub the pool. And I could actually see what I was scrubbing. Then I went around with a little brush and did some other cleaning. So now let's just go on a little walking tour. This is yesterday. So I'll let you see what's going on, and we'll take a picture of the water here in just a second. I just want to kind of show off the pool plumbing. And there's the ladder, and you can see what I'm saying about that last step. But we'll work on that. The point is it's installed. And there you go, crystal clear. Well, not crystal clear, it's still a little cloudy, but beautiful blue pool water. You can see the bottom of the pool. And let me tell you, it was all I could do not to turn off the camera and go jump into the water. My little chlorinator got stuck. So I'm just going to take you on a tour around the pool. Now, just FYI, we've also contracted with our lawn maintenance people. They also do landscaping. They're going to, and you can see the stairs now, a little bit of murkiness, but that has actually gone away as of this morning. So, but anyway, we contracted with our landscaping folks, and they're going to be out next week, and we're going to be actually putting some nice stone around that pool, around the side, about 18 inches out, and around the filter and the stairs to make it look pretty. But yeah, after a lot of hard work, perseverance pays off. The pool is now a sparkling blue oasis, and we're ready to go swim in it, I can guarantee you.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I got my battery replaced in my lavalier mic, and I got to admit, even myself, that sound is much better than it was with the microphone on the camera here. No offense to Canon. Anyway, but you can see what I had to go through. But so part of what caused the pool to be the way it is laziness, and then the other part is that I just couldn't get my hands on enough chlorine to continue the slam. We were able to get liquid chlorine from Home Depot up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then they started running out. So I was on Walmart one day doing something, and I noticed I think they had liquid bleach or liquid chlorine, same thing, for $3.74 a gallon or $2.74 a gallon. That's a really good price. So I thought, well, we'll just run up to the local Walmart here and pick it up. But then I also noticed they had free delivery to the house. So I was like, well, I'd be a fool to go pick it up. So I ordered as many as I could. I put 12 in my basket, and then came back and went looking around their side, and then came back and added 10 more. And much to my chagrin, they let me do it. So I added them all to the basket, and I think it came up to about $89 with tax. And I jumped on it, because that's, in theory, enough chlorine to last me through the whole summer. So I jumped on it, put it in my basket, and placed the order, and it was said, that was Tuesday, I think, and it said it'd be here on Friday. It was like, yay, that I could slam it over the weekend and be done, be swimming by Monday. And then in the meantime, we went to Home Depot again, made a little visit, and they had the pucks, the 3.5-inch chlorine pucks. And the reason I don't like using those all the time is because they add another chemical to your pool water, which it does need, but not in high doses, and that's CYA, cyanuric acid, or stabilizer for the chlorine. It's like sunscreen for the chlorine. So we lucked out there. I think we got a 25-pound bucket for, it was $80. Yeah, last year that would have been about $30 or $40. But because the plant blew up in Louisiana, they had to shift all their manufacturing north, and it made them, and then the demand, because everybody's trying to get their pools up and running. So I was kind of late to the game, but And then the other thing that caused the problem is Walmart then back ordered my liquid chlorine. So I didn't knee-jerk response and cancel the order like I could have or would have. I just waited another week, and eventually Walmart contacted me and said, hey, we've got it back in stock. It's coming your way. But you should see the way they box this stuff. They put 4 gallons in a box. They did put them in individual sealed Ziploc bags in case they flipped over. They did seal the lids, but FedEx shipped it. You know what that means. They just toss it into the truck. So I had bottles of chlorine that were upside down, that were turned sideways. So the first thing I did when I got those boxes here was to unbox everything, check each one for leaks, make sure none of the bottles had been ruptured. And then I was able to begin my slam all over again, and bing, bang, boom. Within a few days, I was done. And as you can see, I now have pretty much crystal clear water. I went out and checked it again this morning. The chlorine levels are right where they should be, so I don't have anything gobbling up my chlorine. And I put the murkiness, the water was still a little cloudy yesterday. Today it was much, much more clear. So I put my little Aquabot back into the water and let it do the finish up work on cleaning up the bottom of the pool. Now the other thing that happened is because I let leaves sit on the bottom, leaves have tannic acid in them, and the tannins will stain the liner. So I've got little spots where the liner's stained a little bit. But according to the folks in the know, the pros, they say just add a little extra bleach every day. Keep slamming it, about half your normal slam amount, and that will bleach those stains out. The tannins will come out of the liner. They'll loosen up and come out. So, and it isn't bad. It isn't something you really notice, but I notice it, you know, so that's the problem. Now, I had planned to go swimming last night, right? But 6 o'clock rolled around and we ate dinner, and I got my belly full of food, and that was it. I was like, let's go to bed. I'm tired. So I was after cleaning the pool all day and vacuuming and whatnot. So yeah, between the pool and running my mouth, those are the only 2 forms of exercise I get these days. So it's going to be tonight. We are going into the pool, and that should be fun. So there you go, folks. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative. As always, please give us a thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Donate if you're so inclined. We take PayPal, Patreon, and the YouTube join function. Please don't forget to come back and see us again. And don't forget, we'll see all of you on the other side.